Okay, let's get right into the article. And oh, by the way, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on the video if you enjoy this content. Let's get into it. So, the article is about the Great Tech Reset. So, just unpacking the layoff surge of 2024, and this is by Forbes. So, I came across this and I wanted to share it with the audience. Okay, just to do some high level recap here. The tech industry, once the unstoppable engine of modern innovation, has laid off over 124,000 workers in 2024 alone. What's driving this wave of layoffs? And what does it mean for the future of work in one of the world's most dynamic sectors? Yes, there are a lot of people getting to the bag in tech, and there's a lot of promotion around getting into tech. And I still think that people should still explore getting into tech, just being selective with the career field that you explore. Okay, so let's get into the layoff landscape. In August 2024, Intel sent shockwaves through the market by announcing a 15% reduction in the global workforce, roughly 15,000 jobs. Later, Cisco announced plans to lay off 7% of its employees, marking its second round of job cuts this year as the company shifts focus on rapidly growing areas like AI and cybersecurity. No surprise there. Earlier in February 2024, Cisco laid off more than 4,000 employees. So that's just speaking to the previous layoff, still in 2024. And if you see layoffs.com, FYI, that's a site that you can go to if you wanted to track the layoffs and just understand what's happening in the industry there. 384 tech companies have laid off more than 124 employees in 2024, adding to the 428,449 tech workers who lost their jobs in 2022 and 2023. While the broader labor market has shown some resilience, the tech sector's cuts are particularly visible due to the sheer scale of these companies. Even a small percentage reduction translates to thousands and thousands of lives being impacted. Why are the layoffs happening? Let's explore. According to the Forbes article, a confluence of factors has created the perfect storm for the current wave of layoffs in the tech industry. First thing is inflation and higher interest rates. The U.S. Federal Reserve's aggressive rate hikes in 2022, aimed at curbing the highest inflation rates in 40 years, have had far reaching intended and unintended consequences. While these measures have begun to tame inflation, they have also significantly increased the cost of borrowing and servicing debt. Companies, particularly these in the tech sector, are now forced to scale back on their growth investments and hiring as they divert hard earned cash to cover their debt obligations. The impact has been severe for tech firms that borrowed heavily during a decade of near zero interest rates and abundant capital, leading to deep cost cuts, austerity measures, and inevitable layoffs. And by the way, the interest rates have dropped, and we believe that they're going to keep dropping. So keep your eye out there. We'll see. We'll take it as it comes. Two, economic downturn and recession fears. Depending on who you ask, we're already in a recession. I know a lot of folks are feeling it in the bottom line in your pocket. Money's not going as far as it used to go. You're feeling at the grocery stores, they're labeling it inflation. But whatever the case, everyday Americans are feeling it, even high income earners, and heck, even business folks, everyone is feeling that there has been some economic impact on them. I mean, you still might be doing very well, but to say that you hadn't noticed it would, wouldn't be disingenuous. Now, if you're not impacted in the sense of your life is still great, then that's phenomenal. But let's see what it's talking about in this article. Despite pockets of strength, the U.S. economy remains on shaky ground, further complicated by the turbulence of an upcoming presidential election. Everyone knows that how that has been, all the back and forth there. Recession fears, fueled by government debt concerns, geopolitical tensions in Ukraine and the Middle East, and the lingering effects of the pandemic, have prompted companies to tighten their belts in the tech industry, where profitability per employee is critical. If you're not a revenue generator for the company, hey, it's always you should all you something to consider in the back of your mind. Are you creating money? Are you saving money? What is your value to the company? We should always be thinking about that when you're working for a company. In the tech industry, where profitability per employee, already covered that, layoffs have become a necessary cost cutting measure as firms brace for economic uncertainty. Okay. Three, as we all know, is here, the AI factor. Artificial intelligence is profoundly reshaping the tech landscape, creating both opportunities and threats. While AI promises to generate new jobs and boost productivity, it also poses a significant risk to those who fail to adapt. IBM's decision to cut 3,900 jobs in its marketing and communications division while freezing hires for roles that could be replaced by AI is a stark illustration of this trend. The shift toward AI driven efficiency is forcing companies to rethink their workforce strategies. And as the companies are rethinking their strategies, you, as a business of you Inc., you need to be thinking about your strategy as well. Don't get caught out to dry and you're just and you have no idea. You get blindsided. Like, come on, don't put your head in the sand. Let's make sure we're paying attention to what's going on in the marketplace, what's going on, whether these roles still have uh, demand for these different companies. And so let's be smart. Four, pandemic overhiring. There was a lot of hiring overhiring during the pandemic. It was wild, wild west out there. Companies was throwing money at folks in all industries, but the tech industry was insane. I was a part of that. I remember having multiple offers, people reaching out every other day. I just knew that it wasn't sustainable. And so I was approaching things and making decisions based on previous experience, but also looking at the economic economy and just realizing like this isn't sustainable. So was exploring companies that were being a little bit more conservative with their approach. Granted, there still was some over hiring, but uh, that's how I navigated it. Let's see what it's talking about here. Tech companies embarked on an overzealous hiring spree, driven by the belief that the surge in digital demand would be permanent. In response to challenges such as the Great Resignation and the rise of quiet quitting, I know y'all probably all remember that. Companies scrambled to fill positions, offering unprecedented perks, work from anywhere arrangements. That's changing. Amazon, to name one, and generous incentives. Firms like Meta nearly doubled their workforce, only to find themselves overstaffed as the world began returning to pre-pandemic norms. Yep. Now these companies are urgently correcting course, leading to widespread layoffs. Now, hopefully, when you were getting to the bag, you was putting money away and saving and investing, and hopefully not check to check. Hopefully that wasn't your case. Hopefully not. Number five, outsourcing and offshoring. The American workforce may have inadvertently weakened its position during the Great Resignation and quiet quitting movements, compounded by the ongoing debate and drama over returning to office. Oh, that's huge. That's a big contention here. In response, companies are increasingly turning to in sit- situ talent. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Talent in Latin America, Eastern Europe, the Middle East, Africa, and Southeast Asia, where they can hire highly educated workers at a fraction of the cost. Yeah. The threat to American jobs is not only from AI, but also from a global workforce that is willing to work hard, adapt, and deliver without the associated complexities. Yeah, I mean, companies can save money that way. I get it. The human impact. The fallout from these layoffs is deeply personal and far reaching. Behind every statistic is a person. That's facts. So when you're seeing these numbers of 14,000 people laying off, or this many people need to get back to the office, there's going to be some people that's not going back to the office because honestly, they're not in a position to. Maybe they don't even live in that state anymore or any other reason, and then just some companies, they just laid off because they overhired and you were just caught up in it. And this was low performers. Some people were high performers. Companies realizing they were bloated at the leadership level. And so they got rid of those and everything in between. I seen it all. I seen it all. These are often highly skilled professionals who now face an uncertain future. The, this wave of layoffs is reminiscent of the dot com bust of the early 2000s, but with a crucial difference. Today's tech workers are older, more experienced, and often more deeply entrenched in their careers. Yeah. The psychological and financial toll can be overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. For example, a colleague of mine, this is a person that's writing the article speaking, a seasoned software engineering project manager with over 10 years of experience, found herself jobless overnight and is now navigating the uncertainty of the job market. I suggested she explore specific opportunities in the data center, cybersecurity, customer experience, outsourcing, and data science industries. I like that. I think I like that. I'm looking. Yeah, I like that feedback. Yeah, I like that advice. Where there is strong demand for skilled U.S. based project managers. This moment calls for a great reset in how we address this crisis and prepare for the next phase of the industry. The handling of these layoffs has sparked significant criticism. In many cases, companies have left employees in the dark for weeks or even months. If you know where to look, if you go to that Warren Act, let me see, let me type it up real quick. Warren, I think I'm saying that right. Warren, is it the Warren Act? Am I making that up? I might be saying the wrong thing. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So with the Warren Act, I mean, we just gonna with the Warren Act, just so you can know what that is. The Worker Adjustment and Retraining Notification Act is a U.S. labor law that requires employers with at least 100 employees to provide 60 days written notice before a mass layoff or plant close. So definitely look into that and save that as a bookmark. And just every once in a while, just keep a lookout. Nothing to be afraid about, but just help you be informed on what's going on out there. You'll get ahead of it. And then if you see your company moving in an interesting way, you see some major shifts and changes, but it hasn't been announced yet, or you just getting that sense, go check that out. That'll give you some insight potentially. I'm not saying it's be all end all, but hey, that's definitely one good resource there. All right. So where were we? The human effect. Layoffs, 10 years, layoffs, criticism. Okay, the handling of layoffs, suspect, as they said. Okay. In many cases, companies have left employees in the dark. Okay, that's where I left off. Fostering a toxic atmosphere of fear and uncertainty. Yes, I've seen that. I've spoken to folks on coaching calls that were just uncertain about their roles. I've seen it. Yes, so that's a real thing. It's a stark reminder that despite claims that employees are their greatest asset, companies often sacrifice their workforce first in times of crisis, even when posting record profits. For example, Microsoft laid off 1,900 workers just 5 days before reporting a 17.6% increase in revenue to 62 billion, while Amazon dismissed 1,000 workers despite a 14% rise in revenue to 170 billion. To make matters worse, some companies are rumored to be reducing severance packages right before layoffs, further eroding trust. I hear that, but I also want to encourage folks. You are a business, and the company that you work for, that's one client. Having real estate on the side, paying down debt, having emergency funds, uh, exploring other streams of income outside of your job, all those things are still really important for you to explore because you are the business and your business happens to service and provide a service to your one employer. But we're living in that day and age where multiple streams of income, multiple streams of income is key, or at least starting that process. Um, Let me see. What is there anything else interesting in this? All right, we'll cover this last part as we getting ready to close. Looking ahead, the current wave of layoffs rises critical raises critical questions about the future of the work in the tech industry. Will companies continue to prioritize AI investments at the expense of human workers? We'll see. Will the industry return to its previous growth trajectory, or are we entering a new era of consolidation and efficiency? And most importantly, how can companies better support their employees through these turbulent times? And I have another question I want to add on there. How can you best support yourself and your family during these interesting times as well? As we navigate these challenges, it's clear that the tech industry is at a crossroads. The decisions made today will shape the future of the industry and the lives of millions of workers for years to come. In this period of uncertainty, resilience is crucial for those affected, absolutely. Equally important is the need for the community to come together with compassion, helping one another identify new opportunities, offering resume reviews, providing career advice, and setting realistic expectations. You could book a coaching call with me. I'm happy to help with that as well. But yeah, get some help. Get some help. Get some help. Don't be a lone ranger. Don't go by yourself. Even I get help. While the tech sector may be contracting, the demand for skilled workers remains strong. For example, demand for data center construction is stronger than ever, absolutely, driven by the insatiable in, driven I'm skipping that word, driven by the insatiable thirst for AI. Forgive me on that if that'll give me a word to go look up. Uh, to learn how to pronounce later. Starting new ventures should also be considered a viable path forward for those impacted, whether it's pivoting to new roles, upskilling in AI, or exploring emerging fields. There are numerous paths to success. The key is to stay adaptable, keep looking ahead, and continue leveraging your network and resources. And I'm going to emphasize leveraging your network. During these times where there's layoffs, where there's high competition, you must network, and don't wait to network when you're laid off. Of course, you have to do it then, but already have those relationships built because you can make a couple calls versus applying to 1,000 roles and not getting any feedback. But yeah, if you enjoyed this article, put a comment in the chat. Let me know what your thoughts are about this article. Uh, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Until the next one, peace.